Hello and welcome to this conversation with the polar explorer, Pen Hadow. I'm Rachel Halliburton. Who could have said 2 years ago that the greatest question facing the Arctic in 2026 would be who will own Greenland by the end of the year? The Trump fiasco has certainly made sure that everybody is aware of how hugely important the Arctic is, but for many, many decades, only a few people have been making us aware of its significance. For Pen Hadow, exploring it and communicating to the whole world the vitality of what it means has become a life's work. He is here today to share his unique insights with Seacourt.
Right, I think I've got enough within me now to do the next thing, that to break through and take forward the sort of barrier currently facing Arctic polar explorers, which was to go solo to the North Pole from Canada, which is by the harder of the two routes, Russia or Canada. That's what I decided to do. And I said my father was dying of brain cancer, and in fact, when I went to see him, he literally died in my arms, and I didn't know he was literally dying in that way. But I said to him, if there's one thing I do in this life, I will make it solo to the North Pole. What is the actual objective? And do nothing extra to that, because we've not catered for it in terms of equipment, training, experience, and maximize not only the chance of succeeding on your mission, but also not coming to harm. Because frankly, if you came to harm, there was no help at all. We had no contact with the outside world for 6 weeks. I had a bear come to my tent. Short version, I just turned off my two stoves, which were roaring away. You can't hear yourself think in this tiny tent. They're roaring away. Turned them both off. I had my breakfast. Total silence. And then I heard crunch, crunch, crunch. And I thought, really? Because I've been up, half the night, so thinking I can hear crunch, crunch, crunch. And you can. But it, so I rather far too casually undid the zip again. And there was the bear. The bear's face, its eyeball was sort of, less than an arm's length away. And so I dropped the flap of the tent. My gun was not in the right position, or it was loaded. And so I picked the first thing I could, just intuitively, a saucepan, flip back the tent entrance and hit the bear as hard as I could. The 90 North Foundation was set up a North Pole Marine Reserve. So all the countries that surround the North Pole, which is a lot of northern Russia, bit of Svalbard, Norway, Greenland, Canada, Alaska, America, they all are given, if you like, 200 odd miles, nautical miles, north towards the pole. They can do that for their own exclusive economic use. But once you go north of that, there's an area of about just under 3 million square kilometers, which is what's called high seas. It's not owned or controlled by any country. A child in Vietnam literally has as much right to the benefits and responsibilities and the liabilities as a nation state or a business. 50% of the world's over 50% of the Earth's surface is high seas. And this is one area of high seas. And actually, the Arctic Ocean and this area right at the top of the planet that we're focused on, the central Arctic Ocean, right at the very top, which is a high seas area, is truly a polar ocean. It's the only polar ocean in the world. And it's the fastest changing environment, and the wildlife and all the services that wildlife gives to the wider world are under threat. So we want to prevent vessels, deep sea mining, commercial fishing, and transboundary cargo shipping taking shortcuts going into this area. They've never been in this area. It's the least disturbed marine environment in the world, and we just think we should just exercise that bit of self-restraint and never go there, especially as it's so stressed with its loss of sea ice. It's all about process. It doesn't matter who you are, what resources you have, what your mindset is. right now, how incapable or insubstantial you may feel you are in the context of any challenge, domestically, at home, or going wider and wider to the companies and organizations you work with, or wider civil society in the UK or globally. It is all about process, which I think is just fantastically empowering. If you can identify what the steps are that you need to take to, if you like, upgrade the software going on in here and the third parties around you, there is no limit. The limit is the end of your life.